I'm Katie and I'm the designated safeguarding lead and also one of the operations managers at MBKB. And today we wanted to share a video all about positive health and wellbeing during the coronavirus outbreak. So today we're going to be looking at some different home exercises that you can do whilst you're at home to keep fit and healthy, how you can keep up to date with current information on the virus without feeling overwhelmed, different hygiene practices that you can follow, and also how to reduce stress and anxiety at this time. Ideas to make your time productive whilst you're at home, money saving tips for your bills, and also some tips for working from home and how you can make that comfortable. So home exercise, being active reduces our stress levels massively. It also increases our energy levels and will help us to sleep better at night. At this time, you can explore lots of different ways for adding physical movement and exercise into your daily routine, and you can find what works best for you. There are some really simple home exercises and routines that you can try to keep you fit and healthy over the coming weeks and months. So let's take a look at some of those. So this is a really simple exercise routine, and I've picked this one because it doesn't involve any equipment that you might not have readily available at the house. So the only thing that it does use is a chair, which hopefully we've all got somewhere. And this is just an example of one of the ones that you can find. So if you go online on Google and just search simple exercise routines, this is one of the ones that will come up, but there are many more online. There's also some professionals which are doing their own videos and home workouts. So Joe Wicks, the body coach, is doing a PE lesson on YouTube at 9 AM Monday to Friday, and that is really good for children but also great for adults to join in as well. If you search on YouTube Pamela Reif workout, she is doing a 20-minute full body workout with no equipment. And then also on the NHS website, there are some great home exercises. There are about 10-minute routines that you can do, ranging from cardio, home toning, abs and upper arms, things like that. Okay, so how can we keep up to date but limit the information that we're taking in? So many of us will be watching the news on the telly, we will have access to news updates on our phone, we'll hear about it on the radio, be speaking about it with family and friends. And it's great to get information about the virus, but it can feel quite overwhelming if that's all that you're focusing on and talking about. It can cause our stress levels to rise, and we might feel panicked if we're constantly focusing on and talking about the current situation with coronavirus. So a really good idea is just to limit the amount of information that you do take in. So only consider information on reputable sites such as the news websites, BBC, Sky News, things like that. With social media, there can be a risk that people are sharing things about the virus that are simply not true, and that can cause kind of fake news to spread and our stress and anxiety levels to build unnecessarily. So only really consider information on news sites, and it might be a good idea to just choose a specific time of the day to watch the news or to put the radio on and just get that information once a day rather than having it constantly flowing throughout the day. If you're finding you're having too much information about the coronavirus and it's becoming overwhelming, especially on social media, you can limit your social media use and also mute trigger words on social media. So if you Google mute trigger words, Facebook, it will show you how you can eliminate certain words from your newsfeed on Facebook so that they don't constantly come up. So anxiety is caused when we are worried by the unknown. This is an unprecedented situation. It's not happened before, and it's causing a massive increase in feelings of anxiousness. So if you are feeling anxious, there are many different tips that you can do to reduce this, and we'll go into those more in a moment. So the advice from mentalhealth.org.uk is to try and see this as a different period of time in our lives and not necessarily a bad one, even if you didn't choose it. So it will mean a different rhythm of life, but it is a chance to be in touch with people in different ways that we have been before. It also means that you can contact people through, Skype, any kind of remote calls. You can do WhatsApp calls, text, emails. So you can still have that regular social contact, and it's really important to keep up with that. It just means that it's not face to face. Try reading more books or watching movies, having an exercise routine that's your kind of go-to routine. Try different relaxation techniques or researching something on the internet, not the virus, perhaps something that you want to find out more about, a topic that you've meant to kind of look into in the past that you haven't had time to do. And just try and get periods of rest in, and view this as a new but unusual experience that could have its benefits. So we mentioned relaxation techniques just. If you Google free 21-day meditation with Oprah and Deepak, there is a free 21-day guide to meditation there that you can make use of. Headspace is also a brilliant app which have released more meditations during the coronavirus to help people, so you can download the app Headspace. Try and focus on what you can control at the moment. So we can control on healthy eating, we can control our hygiene procedures, exercise, making sure that we get enough sleep in as well. And if you Google mind, food and mood, you can find out what foods you can eat to actually boost your mood at this time if you are feeling a bit down or anxious. When you feel your stress building up, and that's perfectly normal for that to happen, it will come and go, you can pick a go-to activity that you can do to hopefully relieve your stress. So whether that be a certain exercise, a certain person that you will call, a book that you'll read, just something that's there so that when you feel like it's building up, you can go to that activity. And it's really important to have a good routine at the moment. So just as we would if we were going out of the house and going to work, we need to try and wake up at a set time, have set meal times, time for rest, exercise, downtime, and that will really help reduce anxiousness and stress levels if you stick to a routine. So how can we make this time productive? There are lots of things that you might think, oh, I wish I never get around to doing that. I really need to do that job in the house, and this is the time to do it. So it might be there's a book that you keep meaning to read and you haven't got around to starting that yet. Try and have a to-do list and check off things that you haven't got around to doing yet. Having a spring clean or a clear out, that's really good for your mental health and well-being, to kind of clear things out that you don't need anymore. Doing some batch cooking or baking. You could decorate the house. There might be that job that you've been meaning to do, or that room that you've been meaning to paint that you haven't got round to yet. Doing any kind of gardening or getting green in some way. You can use this time for studying, so there might be a certain online course that you want to get done, or some information that you want to find out on the internet. And also just building those stronger relationships with people in our household and making memories. This is kind of time that we'll never really get again, and it's great that you can be at home with your friends or family or whoever lives in your household, and you can use this time to make memories with them. Okay, so something else that you can do and that will really help boost your well-being and your positivity and your mood is giving back. So you might have heard of random acts of kindness, and that's something that we suggest you do to boost your mood. You get that feeling of kind of proudness that you've done something to help people. The NHS are after volunteers at the moment. Obviously, they're working really hard, but they do need more help. And if you Google NHS volunteer Good Sam, which I've popped at the bottom of the screen now, you can sign up to help volunteer with the NHS. And there are lots of different things that you can do. Some of those don't involve going out of your house, so it might just be being at the end of the phone for phone calls to check on people that are lonely or vulnerable. So that's something that you can do without leaving the house. But there are other jobs that you can do if you're fit and healthy, you're able to leave the house, obviously just sticking to the guidelines. So some hygiene tips now then. So what I've popped on the screen here is what's called high touch surfaces. So just areas in our house that would be a really good idea to clean with antibacterial wipes or some kind of cleaning substance to make sure that they are eliminated of germs. So things like light switches and doorknobs, TV remotes, toys, tabletops, eating surfaces, places where we store food, so fridge or where we're cooking, countertops as well, and hard-backed chairs. So that's just a few ideas of areas that you should really be cleaning regularly in your house at the moment. I've also popped up there how you can clean your phone, because we're constantly using these, and it's a really good idea to clean that regularly. So Apple recommends using alcohol wipes, but you can just use a cloth with some soap and water that's squeezed out and then wipe that over your phone. Just make sure you dry it afterwards. Okay, so how to save money on bills. So a lot of us are working from home at the moment, and inevitably that means that we will be using more gas, electric, water, and the bills might rise. So I've just popped down on here some ideas of how you can save money on your bills. One of the ideas was to turn down the thermostat just by 1 degree a day and see how you go. That can save money throughout the year. Just bear in mind that the World Health Organization suggests that the base temperature should not drop lower than 16 degrees in your house. Another idea is switching off electricals on standby, so that can save around £30 a year. And the graph on the screen here just shows the electrical items that use the most watts when they're left on standby. So just something to bear in mind there. Another idea then is cutting down the length of the showers. So if you cut 1 minute off each shower, it would save each person £7 per year. So if you're living in a household of 4 people and you each cut down your showers by 3 minutes, you could save approximately £84 a year. So it all adds up. And for more information, Google search money saving expert household bills, and there's lots of the tips on there on how you can save some money on your bills. So a few other things that are useful to know then. Ben Fogle on his Instagram at the moment is doing 30-minute sessions every day at 4 p.m. For children, so that children can have a watch of those, and parents or carers can kind of have a bit of downtime for half an hour. And there are lots of different topics. We've got adventure classes, survival tips, wilderness, things like that. The Royal Opera House have done something called Our House to Your House. So because they're closed for performances to the public at the moment, they are making some of their performances free and posting them on their YouTube channel. There's the Nike Training app. So they've made their Nike Training Club premium workouts free at the moment. The Down Dog Yoga app is now free as well. If you Google search Future Learn, there are lots of free online courses that you can do on there, and you will get a certificate for them. And they range from, there's absolutely loads of topics on there. One of the things that I have just seen is they do a short first aid course, which I think is really good, that you can kind of learn about that whilst you're at home. And there's also Dark Noise, which is a white noise app. So it just helps with getting people off to sleep by producing a variety of white noises. And they're offering a free section during the virus at the moment. I've popped up there as well an app called House Party. So you and your friends and family can all log on to that and interact with each other, and you can play different games. So it's just a way of making it easy really to stay connected with people during this time. Just really important there that we only obviously communicate with people that we know, so our friends and family. And just some home working tips now. So some people may never have worked from home before. So just a few tips here on how to make that comfortable and keep it healthy for you. So the Health and Safety Display Screen Equipment Regulations, 1992. If you Google that, there are lots of different bits of guidance that tell you how you can work from home healthily and safely. There are no set regulations on how often you should take breaks away from your screen, but guidance suggests you should take short breaks quite often. So a 5 or 10 minute break every hour is much better than a 20-minute break every 2 hours. If you Google DSE workstation checklist, there are lots of different things there that suggest that you can do to make your workstation better for you, more comfortable, and just make sure, it's about how you're positioning your laptop, for example, how you're positioning your back against the chair, and just making sure that you stay healthy and safe while you're using that equipment. Some of the tips then are to move away from your station for lunch and meals. It's not a good idea to sit at your workstation, eat breakfast and lunch. It's nice to have a break away from your equipment and go away and have a set break. Try to have a dedicated office space where you can, even if that is a certain area in your house that you've kind of propped up a table or made a workstation for yourself, just a temporary one. It's really good to have a dedicated area for that. And then also to maintain set working hours. So rather than having time where we just kind of think, oh, well, I'll get that done at some point throughout the day, try and wake up and look at what you've got to do that day and make yourself a checklist and have set start and finishing times for work, just like you would if you were going out to work and, for example, going into an office, you'd have a set start and finish time. And then just a thought to end with that I thought was really nice. It's all about staying connected. So Rabbi Yosef Kanevsky said, and the very last thing we need right now is a mindset of mutual distancing. So every inch and every foot that we physically place between ourselves and another must become a thought as to how we might be of help to that other should the need arise. So every handshake that you don't do should become a phone call. Every embrace that we avoid should become a verbal expression of warmth and concern. So it's just really about the fact that we can't have face-to-face contact with some people. However, we can replace that and have virtual phone calls, emails, Skype calls with people to stay connected. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been useful for you. And on behalf of the whole team at MBKB, we will continue to support you and we hope that you and your family stay safe and well. Thank you.